Did you know that owning a mini horse oftentimes is just as expensive as owning a regular size horse?
So in this RIOT podcast, we talk about emotional support. Miniature horses are being allowed back on planes, but the controversy still surrounding like what animals can be on planes and what cannot.
So what I was seeing, apparently, though they eat less, all of the veterinary costs and the training, same cost.
Still same thing?
As a full-size horse.
Okay.
So, I mean...
Well, we talk about a
listener...
listener...
Do you want half a horse or do you want to go all in?
You'll need to listen because we had a couple listeners chime in and we bring up maybe some of the stuff about it. So that's in this podcast.
So other things in this podcast, I go to the Apple store and it takes us 20 minutes to tell the whole story. 8 out of 10 people cry at work. Pumpkin spice spam. Bama fans, Chick-Fil-A, shoe shopping. Well, okay, we went to the mall yesterday.
In case you couldn't tell.
Okay.
It doesn't happen often, but...
That's what we did. And we all went, too. Like, we never all go out to eat at the same time anymore. Yesterday, we all went.
We did.
It was like old times. The only thing that was missing was some random band that was coming through.
Pretty much.
Yeah. You know what? That's enough. So you guys enjoy the podcast.
Are we going to leave everything else as a surprise? If anything else that he didn't let you know about pops up, then that's just bonus for you.
Yeah, I am going to see if you've heard this story before. I'm going to try to stream this weekend.
Yeah.
I've got...
Oh, yeah, you were supposed to
Rebel
this week.
Galaxy Outlaw. You know what? I just had multiple things that were completely outside of my control that kept me from getting to stream.
Like going to the mall.
Well, I mean, the mall. Come on.
That was lunchtime.
It is the mall.
It is the mall.
But that's something that should be happening
good.
sometime either today or this weekend. So if you haven't followed us on Facebook yet, Facebook.com/RadioU, like and follow. Same thing with our RadioU RIOT Facebook page, and you'll find that there when I go live.
Yeah, if you do the notifications, it'll then pop up saying RadioU and the RIOT are live playing a game.
Yeah. So you guys enjoy your weekend. Hope it's fantastic.
Yeah, hopefully everybody gets a break if you want one, or there's lots to do if you don't want a break.
Good call. It's the RIOT.
Bye.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
So I woke up this morning to what I consider to be good news, but not for the reason that you think. Let me explain this to you. Disney Plus has announced that they're going to do an Obi-Wan Kenobi series on Disney Plus, and they got Ewan McGregor to come back. And some people are like, Obadiah, you're a sci-fi fan. That's great news, blah, blah, blah. That's not
Obi-Wan. You should love this.
That's why it's important.
Yes, I bet it is.
It's important because ever since I was a kid, people have called me Obi-Wan, and this is going to lead to a fresh set of Obi-Wan toys and logoed items that I will then be able to
purchase,
appropriate, yes, and make them part of whatever. So, like, I'll find stickers that say Obi-Wan. Perfect. I can use that. I just cut off the Kenobi. Then I just use that.
So, are you excited?
That's
or?
Me. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because
merchandise.
I want to buy the merchandise and make it mine. I want to be... Like, I'm going to take that and I'm going to turn it into Obadiah merchandise and make it mine.
Perfect.
That's my end game here.
Now, I thought that we committed a few years ago to
I'm not talking about toys.
To not buy the merchandise like that anymore.
I'm not talking about toys. Like, it's not toys. But
Seems like it'd be toys.
I don't even want toys. He said as he lied to himself and everyone else.
But we're just going to go with it.
I don't even want them. Toys are stupid.
What toys? Oh, no.
But.
As you're wearing an Incredible shirt today.
It's a shirt, Nikki.
Oh, yeah. It's practical. It's functional. It is functional.
Isn't it?
It is.
Isn't it?
It is.
This shirt was $3.
And that's also the bigger point.
Not that I'm a
$3. That was really clearance.
Yep.
Super clearance.
Does this man know how to shop or what?
I know, right? And you're going to extend that into the Obi-Wan stuff for the new Disney show.
Right. So what you do is I buy the Obi-Wan bumper sticker and I cut off all the other crap and then I just have Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done that with lots of previous Obi-Wan merchandise.
And now you got new stuff.
Now I've got an opportunity to do a fresh run at that.
Well, I'm excited for you.
That's something that's pretty great.
Let's look forward to that.
I mean,
did they talk about like any more of the details on the show, or
it's just coming to Disney
Plus?
And Ewan McGregor. So blah blah blah. Sign up for everything. It's basically...
Take my money.
Well, the thing was, I was thinking about going down to payroll later today to talk to them about just going ahead and setting up a Disney pull on my paycheck.
Yeah.
So it just sends money to Disney every month, and I don't even have to,
you don't have to look
bother
at
with
it.
Signing up, and I just kind of forget it's there.
That's a good
idea. It's like, you'd see on there, it would be like, taxes, Social Security, Disney, they're just all payout.
And then next year for taxes, you find out, you're like, well, I'm going to have to give a little bit more to Disney because I'm not having enough taken out.
I didn't get enough taken out.
I didn't get enough taken out of my check.
When I filed in April, I had a Disney payment that I had to make. And so I
need to have more.
We got to go at a higher percentage here, guys.
Because I'd rather, overpay than underpay.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Well, again, very excited that you have a whole new line of merchandise coming out that reflects your name.
That I can use to promote myself. It's a great plan.
Are people really still listening to the Riot? You don't have work to do or laundry to fold or literally anything else to do? The Riot, Radio U.
There's something terrible and cruel about this, but also funny.
Which is why some of us will be laughing.
Yeah, and some of us won't be. So Cherry Hill Schools in New Jersey, they made an announcement this week that if a child comes to school that is over $10 in meal debt.
On their lunch account?
On their lunch account. That the school district will still feed them. They will give them cucumber sticks or carrot sticks, milk or juice, and tuna on whole wheat. And that is the lunch that they will feed them until they pay back into their account. So this
quote is so mean.
It is so mean. The assistant superintendent says, we opted for tuna fish over peanut butter because we know little ones would probably very happily eat peanut butter.
Oh, and so they want to make sure, they want to go for maximum impact.
So they have literally said that they are feeding them tuna fish as punishment.
Aww.
Until it gets paid. And I feel like this is sad for, one, the kids, and two, people that like tuna fish.
I know. I told Obi I like tuna fish. Why does it have to be like this type of sandwich when it comes to teaching the parents a lesson, I guess, by sending a message through the kids?
Yeah. This is like, I don't want to say out loud, but it's like when my parents would try to hurt each other after the divorce by passing things back and forth. They're like, we don't want you to be in the middle, but here, give this to so-and-so.
Have this tuna sandwich, and you're not eating anything else. At first, it really actually sounds like quite a nice lunch. I wouldn't mind. A little cucumber, you get a juice. It's like great.
I think it sounds awful.
So they currently send letters home every 10 days that a student doesn't have enough cash, like in their lunch account. Mm-hmm. I guess I also thought at first maybe no peanut butter because most people are like nut free when it comes to the cafeteria.
Oh my gosh.
But there's no tuna problem, so tuna they can have.
So the district also says like, hey, you can apply for free lunches. You can ask for reduced price meals. Like there's all kinds of things that you can do.
But these people are just not doing anything.
But you have to do those things. So we're not going to automatically do it. Like you have to take these steps. And if you take those steps, you can get some help.
It said we know that our little ones would probably very happily eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches until the end of time. So that's why they're giving them tuna.
I'll tell you right now, left to my own devices, that's about all I would eat.
Peanut butter and jelly?
Butter. Yeah, because I understand that food and nutrition and blah, 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 and whatever. Don't underestimate how lazy I am at night. You're like, well, don't you want something good to eat? No, I just want the hunger to stop. Give me peanut butter. I'm fine.
And it tastes good. Peanut butter and jelly tastes really good.
It tastes good. That's right. I can have a peanut butter sandwich with some milk and then go to bed.
You can change it up by having like just bread.
Different kinds of bread.
You can warm it up. You can make a little panini one of it. It lasts a really long time.
Get yourself some bananas. Peanut butter and banana toast.
There you go. The whole week, you could have a different type of peanut butter and jelly sandwich every night of the week for dinner.
That's it. I'm good.
But unless you don't pay.
George Washington Carver up in here.
If you don't pay, you're getting tuna. That's all you're getting.
1,001 uses for the peanut butter.
I know, right? That actually sounds really good for dinner today, doesn't it? A nice peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Newsflash. I had peanut butter and banana toast for dinner last night.
Did you? Well, this story really hits home, doesn't it?
It's real.
If it's louder than it has to be and way worse than it has any right to be, it must be the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
It's almost time. I mean, it's not, but we're getting there. I'm talking about fall.
You're getting
Autumn.
Closer.
Perhaps you're familiar. Like we're coming up on it.
When is the first day of fall?
September. It's the 22nd or the 23rd.
Okay, yeah, you are getting closer.
Yeah, because the 21st or the 22nd, depending on the year, is always the last day of summer. Because I was technically born in the summer.
Sure.
In the summer! Go ahead. You want to sing it. It's fine. I'm not mad at you.
We'll give you time later.
Yeah. So this fall, we've already skipped on to talking about Christmas and Sprite, winter spice, cinnamon, whatever.
Well, yesterday we talked about cinnamon Coke coming on September 30th, and then a winter spice cranberry Sprite is coming later.
But we've skipped right over pumpkin spice season.
Yeah.
Forget about winter spice.
And
Let's talk about pumpkin spice for a minute.
You guys have not let us skip past this one because everybody keeps sending it.
Let's talk about pumpkin cookies with cream cheese flavored chips. Thank you, Pillsbury.
Oh, we're not talking about the pumpkin spice Spam? I thought that's what you were going to mention.
I just thought I would, subvert
Deflect
expectations by talking about Grand's pumpkin spice rolls.
Okay.
Kit Kat pumpkin pie. And yes, this year, pumpkin spice Spam.
People say it's supposed to be pretty good.
Nope, that's not what I see. What I see, I don't see pretty good.
You don't see that?
You know what I see? Not bad.
Not bad? I feel like that's the same as pretty good.
Oh, it's not.
You don't think so?
Nikki, not bad and pretty good. There is a vast canyon between the two of them. Because
one is not as bad as you thought it could be, and you could have thought it was like horrific. And then the other, it's pretty good.
Here's what they say. People who have tasted it say it's, quote, not bad. Taste of cinnamon, clove, allspice. What is that?
You would know the taste if you had it.
Okay.
It's in so many fall things.
Nutmeg. And they think that it would go well with breakfast.
Oh, kind of like a mapley taste, maybe. Listen, there's layers of this, okay? We got to work through.
Well, you know what? This I will say. I have had Spam before. Spam is a lot better if you cook it than it is if you just eat it
out of the can.
Cold out of the can. But like if you fry it or whatever, I'm not saying it's good.
It's just a breakfast meat at that point.
Yes. It's something where you're like, all right, put it in the rice. It's just welcome to Hawaii.
Not everybody likes all these fall flavors. The allspice, the cinnamon, the cloves, all that. But maybe we'll taste test it. Maybe we'll fry it up.
Maybe we will. Also, it looks like Starbucks is releasing the pumpkin spice latte earlier this year than they ever have. It's been out since July 4th.
Really?
No.
I thought it was always there. You just had to ask.
It was there on February 15th.
It never went away.
August 27th is the official launch day.
Of the pumpkin spice latte?
You might be able to get them before that. I know with, for example, the peppermint mocha, you can get that anytime you want. You just have to ask for it.
Yeah.
They have peppermint, et cetera, et cetera. So you might be able to get a PSL a little early.
I think the issue is Starbucks has come out with so many other flavors that even when it is out, I just don't get it anymore. We've moved past the PSL.
You know what? I've just turned into this bitter old man. I'm just like, hey,
give me
black coffee.
I know.
Don't put your pretty little spices in it.
I don't want anything fall or Christmassy in it.
It happened sometime last year, and I never looked back.
You're a changed man.
I am. Something happened.
So that is coming. The pumpkin spice Spam is a real thing. And yes, people keep sending us the pictures of it.
Check your inbox. You might have it now. Just kidding. It's in your spam folder. It's a spam.
It's a spam joke. It's okay.
It's fine.
You're listening to a morning show hosted by two people who absolutely despise getting up in the morning.
Will you give me a break one time?
The Riot, Radio U.
This is not funny.
Well, then don't laugh when you start talking about it. You're not starting off the story the right way.
It's not funny, but I've been laughing about it for at least 12 hours, if not a little bit longer than that, okay? So Monster.com, which, what do they do? I think...
Is that job stuff?
It is. I don't know what exactly job stuff they do, but they do something. But they did a survey. Now, granted, this is just of people that probably are at Monster.com, so they're looking for new jobs.
Yes. I believe you go there to post your resumes and stuff.
So let's just know in advance that people at Monster.com probably aren't very happy with their job. But that being said, I feel like this is still a high number. 8 out of 10 people say they've cried at work. And most of them say the reason they cried at work was their boss.
Really? Aww. Why is that? Why are you laughing at that? That's sad. That would be sad if you're in that position.
It is sad.
It is.
That's what, okay.
And when things are sad, Obie laughs.
Listen, what are you going to do? I mean, you've already cried about it. Might as well have a laugh. Might as well chuckle a little bit, because how freaking sad is it that our modern state is, I go to work and I cry.
Well, there's nothing wrong with crying.
I didn't say there was.
That's an emotion, and sometimes things get a little hard at work. There's nothing wrong with crying at work.
Nope. Hey, man, I've cried at work. I've sat in the parking lot, had emotional breakdowns right here.
That is healthy. That's actually what you're supposed to do.
Just let it go.
You don't want to bottle it up and just keep it all in there. A little crying is not bad. But I think it's also depending on your workplace environment, on if you're crying, if you're upset about how you're being treated, is there any changes that happen from that, or are they just going to ignore the fact that you're so upset?
14% say they cry once a week, with a few more saying they cry every day.
Oh, well, not today, because today's Friday, right? Today's the best day out of the week.
Oh, there was the 8 and 10 say they have cried. So it was 45%. So that's right around 5 and 10 say they've shed tears at the office because of bosses or colleagues. They blame their workloads, personal issues.
Really? Crying at work because of a coworker? No.
I've done it.
I know. Everybody has.
Everybody has.
Everybody's cried at work.
8 and 10 people have.
Well, I don't know where the other 2 are.
They're the ones that are bullying.
They're the ones that are causing the problems.
It's real.
Aww.
Yesterday we were at the mall, and Nikki left.
We were there for work. Don't just say that out there.
Nikki left the table, and so I threw my stuff away, and then I started going, Nikki! Hey, Nikki! And then
Nikki followed me. That was so embarrassing.
I ran after her, but I made sure that when I was running, it was like...
so hard.
I was making these really
very
loud
hard. But do you know what, though? I'm so used to that I didn't cry. It didn't upset me that way.
Yeah, she was just like, I hate it here.
And hopefully you'll grow into that, guys. If you're crying at work, you'll grow into, you're so used to it that you don't cry anymore. You're still upset deep down, but you can handle it.
You'll grow these enormous calluses.
Yes.
Because you've been hurt so badly by the man with the floppy feet.
I can see you running out of the corner of my eye. Just like, stop. Just stop doing that. Just stop it.
She's trying to act like, she's like, I don't hear it.
I don't hear it. I don't see him. I don't even know who this person is.
Which only encourages me to get louder.
I know it does.
Guys,
I hate that too.
You know what? I can get so loud.
Yes, you can.
Especially in public.
Well, if you're upset at work, here's a hug through the radio, because we're sorry. But It's okay to cry, and you're not the only one. 7 other people at work are crying too.
I'm going to go cry now.
They even make morning people want to reach for the snooze button. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Hey, I will say, we were talking a few minutes ago about that survey that said 8 and 10 people have cried at work because of something you did.
Well, the boss or a coworker.
Or their coworkers.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of a high number. I will tell you, I was laughing at it because I laugh at everything. But just in thinking about it, I want you to know today, whether you're headed back to school today, whether you're getting ready to go back, whether it's a matter of work or whatever, you never have to go back alone. That's something you got to get a hold of it. That if you want to have a relationship with God, God goes everywhere you go. Jesus wants us to start a relationship with him. He gives us his Holy Spirit, who literally goes with us all over the place. And one of the things you'll see that people call the Holy Spirit the Comforter, and that literally means that, man, when things are bad, you can turn to him and be like, but God, look at what's happening. You're like, don't make fun. I'm not making fun. That's real talk.
That's how it is.
There have been so many times that I have cried and just been like, God, I just can't do this, or I need help, or whatever it is. And it's been at different places in my life at different points. And I will tell you that circumstances have not always changed in the way that I wanted them to, but God has always been there for me and has always listened to me. Now, you might say to yourself things like, don't feel that way, don't be a baby, don't whatever. you know what? That kind of just kills you inside, right? Like yelling at yourself for feeling a certain way. That's not necessarily the best way to deal with it. But I have found that if I take some time and I really express whatever it is that I've got to say or that I'm feeling whatever in that relationship that I have with God, sometimes it just gets it out. Sometimes you're just like, all right, I just had to get it out. I'm better now.
You feel
whatever. Sometimes it's a matter of getting it out's not enough, but God is there. Like you're still dealing with it, but you're not dealing with it alone, and you don't have to face it alone. So I just want you to know today, whatever Friday or Saturday or Monday looks like, you don't have to do any of that by yourself. God wants to go with you. God wants to be there with you. And if you don't have a relationship with him, just ask. Say, Jesus, I want that. I can't do this by myself. I want you in my life. I want you to fill me with your spirit. I need some help. And you know what? Get specific with God. I don't know what's going on with you, but you can talk to him right now where you are about specifically how you're feeling and what you need help with today.
The whining, the loathing, the insightful commentary on postmodern historical doctrine. Okay, maybe not the last one. You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
So yesterday we did it. You guys have heard me whining about my Mac, and it's a good boy, Floyd.
Obi has a MacBook Air, and he's had it for a long time. It's put in its years. It's ready to retire.
And it's
to someone who won't use it as much.
Yeah.
It's time to move on.
So I went yesterday to the Apple Store to buy a new Mac. And I thought that the Apple Store was going to be different.
Yeah.
I thought that it was going to be a place that I would go that, like, hey, just the fact that I'm walking into the store means I'm probably willing to pay far too much money for your overpriced items.
So come over and talk to me, right?
I'm sure I'm purchasing respect, right? Wrong.
So the guy wasn't nice?
I go
or
in
just
there.
A little moody?
There's a guy at the front, and he's like, hey, how can I help you today? I was like, well, I'm here to buy a MacBook Air. And he's like, oh, well, just over there at that table. And what's your name? And I give them Wayne. Wayne is my middle name. But listen, if you had a name like Obadiah, after a while, you just get tired of using it.
You don't want that being shouted. You don't want that starting off.
I don't care. I'll get on the table and start dancing. I don't care about the attention. I just get tired of they can't spell it. They don't know what's going on. They come over and always mispronounce it. And I'm just like, Wayne, like Bruce Wayne, Batman.
No problem with that.
There you go. So I go over there, and I'm standing there, and there's a girl there. Looks like I'll tell you what it looked like. It looks like she was going into college, and her grandma was there to buy her a Mac.
Okay.
So this guy walks over, and he's like, hey, can I help you? And I was like, well, they were here first, and I can wait. Now, what does that tell you about me?
Nice guy.
I'm such a good
nice
person.
Guy.
I'm such a good person. I would not dare get in line before these people who were here first, so take your time. And
even though normally they're supposed to, their thing keeps track of people who check in, and then they just go one to the next.
And so they were like, no, go ahead. And he's like, well, what do you want?
Ooh. What? Hold on, everybody.
Wait. Not what can I do for you? What do you want?
Maybe he wanted to help her more than you.
Now, in fairness, I can't acknowledge that she was not ugly. She's young. She's fun. She's flirty. She's there for a Mac.
Yeah, you were there for a Mac, too.
I was there, hadn't shaved, just got done eating.
Didn't bring your grandma.
German street food for lunch. I get it. I'll tell you what, if I was a guy, I wouldn't want to talk to me either. But I was still there, and I'm a person. And so the guy's like, I said, hey, I would like to buy this Mac. I want the whatever, but I also want to get more RAM. And I'm not even kidding. He was like, you have to order that online. You can't order that here. That's custom. And then that was it.
And he saw his out so then he could go to the next person.
It wasn't like, do you need some help placing the order? You can place the order while you're in the store. Have you been to apple.com? Nothing helpful or anything at all. It was just like, I don't care about you. Hey, baby, how you doing?
That's so rude.
You need a Mac today? And I thought, okay, you guys know I come in here and whine a whole lot. And sometimes you don't even listen to the show because too much whining. And I'm sorry. And so I actually thought to myself, you know what? You're imagining this. You are crafting a narrative as you're standing here, and in that narrative, you're the victim. You're always the victim. Poor little Wayne. They can't even say your first name. Poor little guy.
But
I was not alone.
And that's the key right there.
We stepped outside, and Michael said to me, that guy was awfully dismissive of you. And I was just like, yes, thank you. It is not my imagination. That guy treated me subhuman, like I wasn't even there.
Why you say something?
Yeah, that's the
that's
answer.
what we don't do.
Like, hey.
Well, we say something, we just say something the day later here.
I just don't get it. What, Nikki, why am I so objectionable as a person that when I go into a retail establishment, they just flat off.
Just always do that.
They just like, no,
now,
not
Peter,
this guy. I hate this guy.
Peter's text message is a good point. You know, they on commission, and so they're going to put money right then and there, and yours is a quote-unquote special order that has to be done online, so he's not going to get any commission for that.
Do they work on commission there?
Probably. So
at
then
the
maybe
Apple Store?
Maybe then he just was ready to move on to something he could get money from.
Oh, man, I don't know if I'm buying it. Maybe. I don't know. But yep. It's just like, you know what I thought about? It's just like that time, like so many times, but like Nikki and I are in Seattle getting coffee. They hated me. It's like the time I went down to the vegan bakery. They hated me. I go into the Apple Store. This guy blatantly hates me. And you know what? I was just like, they didn't treat me like this at the Microsoft store. They got me a Diet Dr. Pepper.
They brought me a beverage from the back. Do you see?
I don't you guys think I'm exaggerating? I'm not.
No.
I'm really not exaggerating.
I've seen it so many times, and it's so unfair because you're so nice.
I don't understand.
I don't know
What
either.
am I doing wrong?
You're not doing anything wrong.
Something.
It's them. It can be them.
How many thems are there?
There's
what am I doing wrong?
Listen, there's a lot of thems in this world. More people act like thems than they do you.
I don't know. It's fine. I'm trying. I'm actively trying.
So Catherine texted, interaction with an employee can really throw off how your purchasing or decision-making can go. I've had that affect me a lot.
Okay, I like the most important message of them all probably just came in right here. Wait, it's a pop-up. Hang on. Click over.
I can talk at
Annie
Annie's.
says, you have RBF.
Not that one, but a different one.
Resting brat face.
Radio friendly, yeah. So resting brat face.
Okay, Annie. Like, do you think maybe I really do? Maybe I do. Like,
I don't think you do.
Like, maybe I stand there and look grumpy.
You don't. You always smile. You're always nice. You're always polite. Most of the time.
Maybe the Riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Earlier in the show, we were talking about an arrangement that Nikki and I are trying to set up with, HR here at Radio U, because what we want to do is we want to get it set to where there'll just be a certain amount of each paycheck that we get that'll be taken out and sent directly to Disney.
Why not Disney Plus, but all of our streaming services? We could just go ahead and have that taken out automatically.
That'd be great.
And that way we don't have to do the work.
I think it sounds fantastic. I'm on board. Let's do it. So here's where we are. One of the reasons why you can see that Disney's going to need our assistance is that Toy Story 4 just hit the $1 billion
It did.
mark.
$1 billion.
Yeah. So that
worldwide.
means, yeah. But this is a record-setting thing. Disney is now the first studio to have 5 films that have made over $1 billion in a single year.
So you have Toy Story 4.
Toy Story 4.
You have Aladdin.
Aladdin.
You have Lion King.
Keep going.
The Avengers one.
Yep.
And what are we at? One left?
One left.
Ooh, so this one's the hard one. What else did Disney put out?
Come on, Nikki. You can do it.
Come on. I thought that was the song from the movie.
No.
I was like, what movie's that from? No pressure. Someone text me. Does anybody remember the other one?
The 5th movie that Disney put out this year. I'll give you a hint. It's not
Lion
Spider-Man.
King, Avengers. What else came out?
Come on, Nikki. She's a girl. You're a girl.
Oh, Captain Marvel.
Ding, 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 ding.
was a hard one. I couldn't do it without. I'd like to send this out to Obadiah. Thank you for helping me.
Here's my lifeline. I called him.
Thanks for the assistance on that.
You are welcome. So that's the word. First studio in history to do 5 films exceeding
over $1 billion.
Yeah. And let's keep in mind that still to come this year, Frozen 2, another Star Wars movie, and a sequel to Maleficent that no one wanted.
Well, outside of that one, I think the other 2 could easily make over $1 billion also. So I'm sure they'll have even more this year.
I feel like that. Well, okay. Star Wars, it's iffy because you've also had, they did that Star Wars movie last year and it way underperformed.
Did it make $1 billion?
It was that Solo, a Star Wars movie, and it made tons of money. It just didn't make $1 billion.
Gotcha.
So we'll see. And then Frozen 2, that right there, that's a license to print money in the United States.
It is. It's time for that.
So
we'll see what happens. Someone remind us at the end of the year once all those movies are done.
Yep, that's right. So I guess fingers crossed. Actually, I don't care.
Don't say that. They'll hear you.
I forgot. I don't get any of that money.
You're the one giving it to them.
That's my money.
Yeah.
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
San Francisco, Nikki.
Yeah.
It's there.
It is.
In California.
Yes. It's some of it's a lovely area. Some of it is rebuilding.
You can't buy Happy Meal there.
No, you cannot.
And you know what else you can't buy there? At least they're making efforts and taking steps to keep you from buying there.
They like to ban certain items. So then right outside of the San Francisco lines, I mean, obviously you can go back to buying it, but...
Okay, so if I told you they just banned something, just take a stab at what you think it might be. San Francisco, their city council, but it has a different name. Their city, whatever, they just banned something. What do you think they banned?
Vaping?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
The sale of any kind of vaping product.
It was that
at all.
I was going to say that or scooters of some sort.
So you can still vape in San Francisco, but you cannot buy or sell vaping products in San Francisco. In fact, you can't even have it delivered to your house. So,
if you live there?
So let's say you buy from vapeatme.com or whatever the heck. Please don't go there. I don't know what it is. I just pulled it at random.
Oh, no. What did you do?
Yeah.
What have you done?
So whatever it is, you buy it online and have it shipped to you?
Yeah.
Nope. You're not allowed to have it delivered inside San Francisco. Now, this has been through their council. The mayor has to sign it into law. And then after the mayor signs it into law, it'll take 7 months for it to take effect.
So you have until then.
Yeah. So I guess load up or
load out.
I don't know. But they are the first city in the United States to ban the sale.
Yeah, but that's what San Francisco does. They always ban everything.
Happy Meals and vaping.
There's more than that, and I can't tell you what the answer is, but there is more than that. I promise you there is.
Yeah. Well, they're building utopia there.
Well, I don't know what they're expecting.
You to not buy vaping products anymore?
Yeah, but for a lot of things they ban, some of that stuff brings in money, which could be helpful to certain aspects of the city.
I'm fairly certain that Juul's headquarters is in San Francisco.
Yes, yeah.
So if they can't ship in or out...
There must be a workaround or...
Man, if I was Juul, I'd be like, all right, it's fine. We're leaving.
We're going right outside the city lines.
We're going to Petaluma or something. Just whatever. You got to go somewhere.
No, everybody's going to Texas or Colorado. So
yeah,
a lot of the businesses in California are just moving out, literally.
Actually, no offense. I don't want to live in Texas now.
Why? It'd be wonderful.
It's too wild.
It's too extreme
for
some areas.
There. It's hot. They have tons of snakes.
It's a good extreme, I guess.
Everybody's got guns. I can't.
You just can't do it.
I can't live in Texas. Nikki, I'm not man enough to live in Texas. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I have to go somewhere where they're going to take care of me, like San Francisco. It's a place where I wouldn't be welcome there.
Can't afford to live there.
I'll just be honest. They wouldn't
want
me.
Even.
Yeah, so.
We'll keep looking for the place to go. But yeah, San Francisco always does this.
I think half the people that live there can't afford to live there. They just, the city is their home.
The only morning show brave enough to say that Chicken McNuggets are part of a balanced breakfast. The Riot on Radio U.
His name is Tom Ford. I don't know who he is, but
he's
Nikki
a designer.
Nikki was like, oh, yeah, of course, I know who Tom Ford is.
I bet you've heard the name.
Yeah, the car.
Well, no, Tom first.
I've heard of Tom's Ford.
It's a dealership?
Yeah. Come on down to Tom's Ford, where we'll give you 60 months, same as cash.
Hey, you're not into his stuff, and that's fine.
It is fine, and he obviously doesn't need me. He's wildly successful on his own, but
He is a designer, though.
he is. It's fascinating read about him, how he was an alcoholic, and he actually thought that alcohol and drugs were where his creativity came from.
So he's afraid to give that up.
Very afraid to stop. But the detail that's leaping out at me right now is he says he wears the same thing every day.
He does?
Now, think about that. Here's a designer that wants you to spend $1 bajillion on his clothes, and he's wearing the same thing every day. Now, you do what you want with your clothes, but you know what? That's what I should do. I need to buy like 3 pairs of jeans and 10 black shirts.
And just have that be your outfit?
Straight black shirts. And like, you know what? Every day, I just make sure I have the clean black shirt on and a pair of jeans and done.
I think a couple of years ago is when the minimalistic sort of look and style really became popular. And that's when it was a cool thing to not have different outfits for each day.
Yeah.
You had, like you said, a couple pairs of jeans and a couple of shirts, and that's it. He also said he doesn't really wash them a whole lot.
Well,
so the clothes
Nikki,
last longer.
It's not that he doesn't wash them. He doesn't dry clean them.
Oh, he
as
doesn't
often.
dry clean them as often.
So, I mean, maybe for him, that's a synonym.
That is washing.
Like dry cleaning is washing, obviously. I mean, Tom Ford does not have a washer and dryer.
Oh, they're always like, don't wash your jeans. You're not supposed to wash them as often as we do end up washing them.
I wash mine seldom. Like if they stink, I wash them. Like if we go to Massey's, I wash them.
But you're supposed to let them get good and stiff.
Crusty.
And crusty until it's really actually time to wash them.
Yeah, I get that. So, but think about that. Like just like jeans and a black shirt or something like that. So you just don't have, you find a black shirt that you feel like is a great fit for you, and then that's all you wear.
Yeah.
All the time. And then you never have to think about it.
My fear would always be someone would notice it, but I mean, at this point, no one really cares about it.
No, it'd be a conversation piece. Just like, yeah, I wear the same thing every day. I've made the conscious choice. I just dropped the cash.
The Facebook guy do
I'm wearing
that,
the same thing every day.
He always wears the hoodie and the shirt.
I don't know.
A lot of the people do.
So, man, come on. That's like the people that are selling us stuff, they don't get hooked on their own stash. You hear like Bill Gates, he's like, I won't let my kids have cell phones or computers.
You're like, wait a minute. Then why are we having to do it?
Well, let me get this straight. Your fortune was made on me buying that, and you don't?
Like you're a designer, but you don't even wear any of the clothes.
Think about it, guys.
Oh, that's something right there. That's deep. That can go real deep if you want to.
But that actually, I should, man.
Why don't you just do it?
I feel like that's a brave choice. Well, I got a closet full of variety right now, but maybe I just start out like.
Just donate the clothes and get rid of them.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be not just the freedom of only having to work, like you don't have to worry about what you're wearing, but you just don't also have a closet full of stuff you won't even touch.
Yeah.
Just donate them to somebody.
Just get rid of everything, get a stack of black shirts and
Coming
jeans.
up this fall fundraiser, we got your chance to win.
Remember we did Obadiah's CD vault?
You can now get Obadiah's closet. You can get all his shirts that you don't want to keep.
You can't even fathom how disappointed you're going to be with that.
No, don't say that.
Or how weirdly stretched out the shirts are, like in odd places. Like, wait, what?
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
You know, you think if you win money in court, it's like hitting the lottery, but it isn't.
I'm sure it's just like if you did win the lottery, a lot of it goes to other places.
It's not necessarily the same thing. And this is the case with this. And I vaguely remember this happening, but this is crazy. There was a football fan, an Alabama football fan, who poisoned a bunch of oak trees at Auburn. And so the idea was they had these big, beautiful trees on their campus, and this guy was just like
80-year-old oak trees. Like they were a statement at Auburn.
And he was like, I'll take care of that. Enormous oak trees. Beautiful oak trees. And
he poisoned them.
He did. He did.
And then I think he got found out because he called into a radio show or something, a sports show. And then it was found out that he was the person who poisoned all these oak trees. So he got in trouble. He had to pay back what the court said for the cost of the trees.
So his name is Harvey Updike. And you're right, Nikki. He called a sports radio show
And said it was him who had done it.
Said it was him. He'd poisoned the trees, and that's how he ended up getting caught.
He served more than 70 days in jail in 2013. And then would anybody like to guess how much he was supposed to pay in restitution? Anyone want to text in and guess? It'll take a moment because there's a lot of zeros in there.
There's a lot of zeros.
You're like, how much do these 80-year-old oak trees cost Auburn? And take a guess.
The interesting thing is, like, you can't replace an 80-year-old tree.
No, you can't.
It's so funny. We live in a society where everything can be replaced, but, like, you can't replace 80 years of growth on a tree. So it was $800,000. He has paid less than $5,000 of his $800,000 over the last 10 years.
Well, the hearing was 2017, and he was supposed to appear back.
So, okay, he did it in 2010, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it took a while because a judge was going to put him in jail again because he wasn't paying the money back. And so he was in contempt of court when he failed to appear at a hearing in 2017. And now they're trying to go back after him and say, hey, why have you only paid $5,000 of the $800,000 that we're working towards? Because if you owe money that way, it's like a mortgage or your student loans and stuff. They'll actually set up a payment each month that you have to do.
Let me tell you what, this dude's 80 and he gives
He's just waiting it out.
Is he
80?
He's 80.
I thought that was the oak tree's age. He's the same age as the oak trees?
Okay, now wait a minute. You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe I just too quickly.
I'm not sure how. I mean, he's older, but I'm not sure how old he is.
Okay, so then I read that wrong. You're right. I don't know. I actually don't know how old he is. He's 70.
70.
He's still waiting it out.
That's why he's paying the bare minimum right there.
He's like, let me tell you something. You know what? Best case scenario, I got 30, 40 years left. You ain't getting this money out of me.
So they're saying that in the past year, he has made a total of 2 payments for a total of $200.
Yeah,
because of that, they're looking for him to close the year and figure out what can they go after him for since he's not paying.
Yeah, that's right, Nikki. Roll Tide, he says.
He doesn't care. He does not care at that point.
Oh, man. Another Jason just texted and said, so he admits that he's the root of the problem.
Oh, that's a good one, Jason. And Alabama fans are obviously he's a part of a lot of memes for people that are posting stuff. Like, they're supportive of him, but what he did was wrong.
Yeah. So apparently these trees on Clemson's campus, it's where they would go to celebrate a victory over Alabama. They would toilet paper the trees, like absolutely cover them, and it would be this big gathering. And now
that's why he chose those to poison them.
They're gone. Man, he wouldn't have got away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids.
You mean he talked about it himself and turned himself in practically?
Shouldn't have said it, man. Should have let it go.
The Riot is to your ears what all those energy drinks are to your liver.
For the love of God, please stop. I can only process so much.
The Riot, RadioU.
So, Nikki, I don't know if you're aware, but apparently these days it's very popular to watch people play video games on the internet.
No, you're kidding.
And so I don't know if you're familiar with CBS. You know, they're
on top of it all.
They're a big broadcasting corporation.
Oh, don't tell me they're going to try to do something, are they?
They are going to be airing the Nintendo World Championships.
Oh, that's better. I thought you meant they were going to starting their own Twitch or whatever.
So what happens is it's a trio of esports tournaments: Super Mario Maker 2, Splatoon 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And they will, let's see, August 25th at 1 p.m. will be the first one. And then the network will air one on September 7th and one on September 14th.
So I'm sorry, which part of CBS network? Is this going to be on their all access, or where will it air at?
According to this,
it'll be on
TV
on CBS,
unless I'm just really reading this wrong. But the thing that's weird is August 25th at 1 p.m. I'm looking at September. August 25th. Okay, that's a Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Well,
that makes more sense.
I guess that's possible.
So then September 1st and September 7th, or 8th, I mean. So, or is it? Let me double check. Well, I'm looking at it is the 7th. So August 25th, September 7th and September 14th. So August 25th is a Sunday
and then
the 7th and the 14th are Saturdays.
So in case you turn on CBS, you're like, why am I watching Nintendo stuff? That's their championships.
So it makes a ton of sense until you realize that college football will be on then. And why in the heck would I be watching the Nintendo World Championships when college football is on?
They actually were hoping that you wouldn't remember that.
Yeah.
And way to go.
I'm kind of wondering how long the episodes will be. Because if they're filler, because CBS does college sports. So if it's something where they, for a half an hour, they fill in this championship stuff.
With like an update, I'm not sure.
I would be curious to see, I've seen esports on ESPN. I've seen them just online on Twitch or wherever. But I've never seen a network like CBS take that on.
And I've never seen a Nintendo one.
It might be interesting to check out.
What do you get if you win? Because we're still coming off that one guy who won the $3 million from Fortnite stuff.
Though.
So, are we talking that money?
No. I don't think so.
So what do we get from the Nintendo stuff? I'd be curious to find out.
I don't know the answer to that. It's not contained in this article, and personally,
you don't care enough to find out. Is that it? Is that what you're saying?
Do I look like I'm going to be headed out to the championships to win the big bucks?
You don't, but I was just curious.
And quite frankly, I think at this point, if you haven't already hit through preliminaries, I think it's a little too late for you to...
You're not making it in.
Head off to Vegas and beat everybody at Super Mario Brothers 3.
But the bigger the prize money, might actually watch it. Maybe.
So I can see someone else succeed.
Using advanced technology, we've digitized and transcoded Obadiah and Nikki into a purely digital format. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki and I were just on hold for almost 3 minutes with what was, I think, a telemarketing call.
I don't know what it was, but it was some great on-hold music. So
Man,
thank you for calling.
Super disappointing that they didn't actually answer the phone so I could... I love when I get...
Interacting with it.
Yeah, because I like doing stuff where I'm like, oh, hey... I was just giving somebody my credit card info. Like, did I get transferred to you? What happened?
I'd love to give it again.
Wait, did you? I'm going to take it down.
I want to know where to send the gift cards to pay off my account.
Hey, hang on. I'm getting, you guys just put me back?
You can text or call anytime you want to for whatever reason you would like to. 877-2-RADIO-U. Texting might be better at that point, but feel free to include your number if you've never texted before, even if it's just to say hi.
So, according to an MBLM survey, what is MBLM, Nikki? Do you know?
I don't know.
I don't either, but they test. I love this. They do surveys, and they say that Starbucks has been at the top of their list for the strongest emotional bond.
So MBLM, it's like it's a brand, and it's using the word intimacy. Like, how much do you love a brand so much?
And do you identify with it?
Exactly.
I drink Starbucks coffee. I'm a McDonald's guy.
Like, you wouldn't possibly go to their competition. You are brand loyal, which we all have some brands that we're loyal to.
Like Nikki with Apple.
I am. I'm brand loyal.
And like me with...
Oh, you might be the exception. You're willing to float around.
I will tell you, I am willing to float around, but unless I find a product that really works. Like, for example, I'm going to buy some running shoes. I would buy Nike branded running shoes usually.
That's brand loyal.
Because I've had so much success with, but I'm not emotionally tied to Nike. Like, it's just literally, that works, I'll wear it.
He's one sale away from going to another company.
I totally am. So here we go. Chick-Fil-A is at the top of this list now. Starbucks was at the top forever. They've fallen from 1 to 3.
Well, Starbucks has not had the best time.
Chick-fil-A is in the top spot with Dunkin' Donuts. Just Dunkin' now, guys.
Dunkin' has improved the most in brand loyal. So you're willing to love Dunkin' more than Starbucks. They went from 9th place to 2nd spot.
That surprises me because I know you guys are brand loyal.
Dunkin'
Don't
people.
be mad. I don't like their stuff. I don't think their donuts are very good. And
they're in 2nd place. Shh.
Their coffee is good.
Yeah. We're just not near it.
If I had to go through a drive-thru and there's not a coffee house around, Dunkin' Donuts is a pretty good place to get coffee.
But we're also not we're not far enough on the East Coast, because if you ever go to the East Coast, it's every other store is a Dunkin'.
It's true. So rounding out the top 10, you got Starbucks at 3, McDonald's at 4, Taco Bell at 5, Subway at 6 above Wendy's.
What's wrong with you?
Burger King at 8, Chipotle at 9, and KFC at 10.
And number 10.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So, Nikki, what would you say if there was a fast food restaurant that you had emotional ties to?
Oh, probably McDonald's because of the Big Mac.
Okay.
That's just my thing. Always has been. Probably always will be.
For me, I think it might be like no. Do I have emotion? Like, it can't just be that you like it. You have to love it.
Do you think the McDonald's fries, the Wendy's hamburger, anything else? I mean, we're kind of out, in and out, man. If it was close around, we're talking loyal to that.
I might have some emotional ties to that brand, or I got to think about it. Listen, just because I can't think of something
doesn't mean there isn't something.
Don't mistake that for me being above it all. I'm a sucker for the mainstream just like everybody else.
You just like it all.
Yeah.
Except for a couple on the list, but most of them you do enjoy.
Things are never as bad as they seem, except when it comes to the riot. Then they're worse. They're always worse. It's the Riot on Radio U.
You know, yesterday I begged Nikki to go shoe shopping with me, and her response was no. It wasn't, she didn't even, and I appreciated the fact that she did not manufacture an excuse. She just said no.
Well, listen, my actual response is sometimes when we go out together, what do? You sometimes
hold your hand and be kind, open doors.
Actually do open doors. You're always very sweet with that.
Say nice things.
No, a lot of times you yell and you're embarrassing towards me. And we did end up going to lunch yesterday at the mall. And what did you do?
Teamed up with Eric to make you feel bad?
And yelled at me and shouted and embarrassed me.
And did that floppy foot run so that it was real loud?
And pretty obvious what you were doing. So that's why we don't normally go shoe shopping. But I'm willing to do it online with you here from the safety of the studio.
I did some shoe shopping yesterday.
Did you find some?
Well, you know what? This is so stupid. We went to the
mall.
Now,
is it? Come on, watch our tone.
No, it was stupid.
It was?
We went to the mall, and I didn't have my gift card. So,
well, that is.
See? Told you. Guess who didn't bring it again today? Can I get a hand over here? Yeah, come on.
You're never going to get these shoes.
Come on.
You're going to end up having to buy them online.
Maybe. But, man, I had a great conversation with a dude that sells shoes in there. Like, Nikki, my street cred was legit.
Why?
Why? Because I dropped dead stock, and he was like,
knows what that means.
He was telling me about one of the guys he works with. He's like, yeah, he just bought his 70th pair of shoe. And I was like, look, man, I'm not interested in dead stocking a bunch of shoes. I'm just here to get a pair to run in.
And he was impressed.
And he was like, This
guy knows what he's talking about.
Come on.
Dead stock is where you buy them, you put them on the shelf. You don't actually use them.
You don't really wear them. So I go in there, and I looked at all these shoes. He showed me these new Nike running shoes. They are $200. But like the new hotness in these running shoes is that, you know how, like, if you look at the back of the heel of your shoe, it's rounded.
Yeah.
These new running shoes, they're like elf shoes. They come to a point.
They do?
Oh, yeah.
What are they called?
I don't know.
Nike Elf Point shoes. We'll try that.
Yeah,
I bet you it'll come up.
I'm sure it's right there. But they have this little point in the back instead of it rounding out.
What's the point for the point?
What's the point of the point?
What is there?
Gosh, the fun is starting. I have no idea. But I start to lose interest when somebody was like, oh, yeah, those are only $199.95. I'm just like, oh, yeah. Okay. Hey, I'll be right back. And I don't come back.
You never come back to get them.
Yeah.
But for running shoes, it could be worse. That's not the worst price.
Well, that ain't no lie for right there. But yeah. So we looked at, the other thing I looked at, these right here. These he said these literally came in yesterday. They're the Nike Joyride Run Fly Knit. And they have these like little beads in them that are supposed to offer like, it's supposed to spread out and like
Look
whatever.
at you with your gift card. You're looking at First Run premium shoes. What are you doing?
Only $180 after discount.
Are you going to, did you find a pair that you're going to get, or are you going to still look?
I ain't getting shoes like that.
All right, you're still going to keep looking.
Listen, you ready to hear some sad talk? I was looking at the Downshifter 8. They're like $45.
Where's the beads at in them? Is there no point?
There's no beads. There's no point.
There's no nothing. Is there cushion?
Here's the thing: is
even a Nike?
I'm not even trying to be like nasty here or whatever. But I'm just like, look, I'm not a fancy runner. I'm just some fat dude that runs in the morning so he can have a donut. So
What evens out?
I need you to give me a pair of shoes that have like
Lots of cushion.
Mack truck kind of cushioning. Like I'm talking big semi 16-wheeler kind of tread on them. And that needs to last me a little while. And
I don't need memory foam, none of that. We just need something else.
Those shoes are always like, yeah, just take them. They're $5. So Lisa says I should try out Under Armour. The guy in there, he was also, he was not a little guy. He was like, yeah, man. He was like, you might think about, he recommended Adidas. He said he always runs in Adidas.
Sure.
But he looks like me, so people don't even believe him when he says he runs. So. But I believed him.
Because you do. You run.
So, well, there you go. I went shopping. Oh, and so, I had a positive experience at a store yesterday.
You did.
That's good.
Now, you still haven't bought anything, but you'll remember that gift card soon.
Sometime next week, probably, maybe.
You'll eventually get your shoes.
Yeah, whatever.
If you're looking for all the funny moments you missed during the riot, we apologize. You won't find them here. There weren't any. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
So Nikki and I do a lot of flying, first class, private jets usually.
To fun vacations, not family things. No.
But when you've got a job like this, it's all fun.
It's a lot of jet setting.
Fun day to day to day. But I often find myself emotionally troubled when flying, which is why I always want to bring my miniature horse. And the good news is the U.S. Department of Transportation says I can.
Has now said that you can do that.
Many horses. Oh, gosh.
You never thought you'd say that statement, huh?
Many horses, it's now okay to get a service animal that is a mini horse and to take it on a flight.
Yeah, you're allowed to.
You're allowed to do that.
There's
now.
barely room for us people. I know if it's a service animal, that's one thing. But there's just not room for them or even any sort of service pet. They should have an empty seat that's taken out so that there's actually room to be comfortable for the person and their miniature horse.
You know what I think we should do? I think we should get a service animal person on the show, someone that's their job. Because here's what I want to know. And I mean, part of me is laughing, but there's also a huge part of me that's I would just like to know the answer. Why would you choose a miniature horse over, say, a dog or a cat or a pheasant or I don't know, whatever the heck would be a smaller, more manageable animal?
I bet you it probably depends on the person because maybe
they hate dogs, but they love horses.
It could be maybe they're more comforted by a miniature horse, and those are actually quite popular to have as a support animal. And I can't recall if it's because they're less money or what.
There's no way a mini horse is less expensive than a dog.
I think a mini horse can be less expensive than a support, not a dog that you're just turning into a support, but we're talking a support animal that's been trained. Those can be very expensive.
Okay, 5 things to consider before buying a mini horse. Okay, miniature horse for sales on Equine Now. Here's one for $600. Oh, that one is scary looking, and it's almost $1,000.
What's wrong with it? But I think you're supposed to look into a support one, mini horse support animal.
Nikki, they become support. They're not born that way.
No, but they're supposed to be trained into some of that.
Here's one for $1,500. Precious Reflections of Panorama.
And you know how much dogs are? Dogs are way more than that.
All right. Well, you won't want to say.
I'm not saying.
Because you don't want me to hold it against you and roll it out for years to come.
I have a hypoallergenic dog, and those are super. I mean, they charge a lot of money for those, especially for therapy dogs.
Okay, how far away would we have to drive to get
a miniature horse?
A miniature horse.
You can't have one, though. You have allergies.
Don't tell me what I can't do.
You can't.
Okay, it looks like the closest that we can get is going to be 57 miles.
57 miles?
Yeah.
We can go see some.
Listen, if they can fit in a plane, they can fit in the back of the car. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Do you do that? Well, for Rachel,
if you're going to jam them on a jetway, they can get in the Honda.
Rachel texted from Texas, says miniature horses live a lot longer than dogs, and they're also very smart. There's more to it than that, but that's a big part of why people would go for a miniature horse as a support animal than a dog.
Okay.
What are you going to say?
To quote a favorite comedian, people are always talking about how smart animals are. When one of them splits the atom, you let me know.
Okay, great. Is that it?
I'll stop there.
I think, though, if you have a miniature horse, it's very, like when people have pets that you're not supposed to touch. They're working.
Yeah.
And so you're not supposed to touch. But it's so hard when you see someone bring a miniature pony and expect us to just be able to turn that off, that there's a horse on the plane and not, go crazy because it's so cute. Like, how are you supposed to just ignore that? It's hard enough when it's a puppy or a dog.
Nikki, maybe that's part of the therapy. They spent their whole life always wanting a pony, and they were never allowed to touch their friend's pony or be by their friend's pony.
Better.
And now they have their own pony, and everybody else has to want to touch the pony.
No one can touch it.
And they get to tell everybody not to touch it.
You're not supposed to if it's a working pony. Great.
And see, I just want you to know,
What?
we have to work to destigmatize it, because the little snickering and the chuckling.
There's not.
Yes,
there's
there
not.
is. That is
I just
us
think there's
being judgmental, and we got to destigmatize ponies.
Right. It's just hard again.
Hashtag destigmatize the pony.
I can't spell any of that first to get the hashtag right. And there's just hardly any room on the plane, Hardly any room.
There's pony room.
Where?
But it all says you have to make pony room.
Where? And then you're just like the seat next to it.
They go
Where?
in the overhead compartment.
You're not supposed to put them
And then
there.
you put your hand up and touch them.
That sounds cute, though.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Over the last 2 weeks, I've been observing two internet arguments up close. What they are doesn't really matter all that much. But what I keep seeing emerging in those two instances and in a couple of others that I look at is the idea. Okay, I realize I'm not saying anything new here, but this thing that I keep seeing emerge is that people are not really, one, listening, and I get that, but two, they're actually just looking for something to get mad about because they have their own pet thing. And here's what I mean. So let's say Nikki goes on Facebook and makes an impassioned plea for how they should not be allowing miniature horses on flights.
Okay, so let's say I did that.
And I would go on her thing and be like, Nikki, you're exactly right. This is exactly what I've been saying about the way the Democrats have been putting birds on, like, whatever. And I use whatever you're upset about to immediately drag it into whatever I'm upset about.
Sure.
I'm not even listening to the person I agree with. I'm just using their thing to push my thing. And it's amazing to me to see the people that are disagreeing and people that are agreeing, they're not even listening. We're all just using it as a springboard for like our own thing.
So we're kind of just looking for an argument, and then you just jump in and change it to whatever you're going after.
The other thing I find interesting is, again, in this one argument in particular, I saw somebody post a rather long, lengthy opinion piece, and people have been sounding off about it. And reading people's responses, it's funny to watch how I don't see any balanced responses at all. The majority of the responses I see is either, this is wholeheartedly correct, or let me show you everything that's wrong with what you're doing. And it's just interesting to me to think, like, hey, do we have to immediately, every time we read something, must we tear it apart immediately? And I realize that, like, we've been trained that way. If you've spent, you should have learned some in high school, but you will absolutely learn in college, or you should take a logic course and you should learn how to deconstruct an argument and build an argument. That's fine. But we never, sometimes it just wouldn't kill us to listen. Just listen, just for a minute. Like, and before you immediately, okay, I'm having a hard time getting it out. It's like this, okay? If you take an interpersonal communication class, one of the best things that I learned in that class ever was they talked about how listening, active listening, is something that most people do not do. Most people, when listening to someone, they're crafting their response. They're not listening to the person. And one of the things that you do in active listening is you stop thinking about your response and you start listening to what the person has said. And then when they are done, you take a moment and then you say whatever it is that you decide you want to say back to them. No one's doing this. I shouldn't be surprised by this, but I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe today, me, you, everybody What if instead of, in the middle of someone talking, we just start making notes about what our argument's going to be against them and start tearing them apart? What if we listen to them first? And then
you do it.
You ask questions, understood, and then talk to them about the things like, well, I don't know about this, or I don't know about that. We don't do that. We're just like, I can't wait till it's my turn to talk.
I remember we talked about this weekend was supposed to be maybe we take a break from social media.
I am taking a break.
So maybe we save that to practice on Monday when you come back to it, kind of refreshed.
I probably need a break from coffee,
and this
too.
is why no one it then ends up posting anything. It's because you just take it all off.
Just take a break.
How many coffees have we had?
Not that much.
Just a couple?
It's fine.
Okay.
I'm frustrated with people. I wish that people would listen. Now, doesn't mean you can't talk. It just means that you talk and listen. But what we're all doing is just talky. No one's listening.
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The riot exists because Radio U exists, and Radio U only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.
I've just turned into this bitter old man.